Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be taking the Enneagram test. I don't even know if I said that right. And I really hope that you guys can hear me, but I'm not trying to speak very loud because Grayson is currently sick and he's knocked out in our bedroom. So I'm trying to not be very loud. But if I'm also being honest with you guys, I'm extremely self-conscious of having people hear me or watch me when I'm filming videos. So we're just gonna push through, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. Well, Grayson gave me the idea for starters, but I've also always just been super curious to know what I fall under when it comes to this test because I've read about it so much, and um, I'm just really curious to know how I work and how I function. And I also don't know how accurate these tests are when it comes to figuring like yourself out. But either way, I thought it'd be fun. And if you guys know what you guys are, or like what type of wing you have, or whatever it is, comment down below and let me know because I'd be very curious to know. But I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And so to kind of give you guys a gist of what this test is, it's basically a way of categorizing like humans into 9 different personality types. It's a tool to understand the inner workings and motivations behind human behavior. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do this test, like I said. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. There's a lot of different like websites where you could do this test, but I found one that's actually free. So I don't know how well it's going to be, but we're just gonna work with it. So the test that I'm taking, it's basically going to give me like a set of questions that I have to answer before I move on to the next page, and I just have to answer yes, is it really me, it's partially me, or no, this is not me. And it's telling me to be as honest as I can possibly be, so that's what we're going to do. The first question is, I want to win the approval of those in authority, sometimes even when I don't really like them. So I'd like to say that no, this is not me, but to be honest, I feel like I sometimes fall under this category. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but I just really like to be able to know that people above me approve of me, if that makes sense. I am too strict with myself and others. I think partially, yes. Sometimes I'm very like laid back and I'm like, screw it, like I don't really care about anything or anyone. Other times, and most of the times, I'm like, man, like I need to get it together and this is how things need to get done. So I think I'm gonna go with partially for that one too. I plan the next adventure before the current one is finished. Absolutely. I love to plan the next adventure ahead of time just because I like to be able to like know that I have time off of work and that like I've bought the plane ticket or I have the money saved for like whatever it is we're going to be doing. So I definitely am going to say yes to that one. Do I get depressed easily? I think so. I don't get depressed easily, so that'd be no. I tend to be very emotional, and I'm trying to figure out how to better handle my emotions, especially now that I like live with Grayson and I have someone else who sees me when I'm going through those emotions. Do I tend to trust most people? I think yes. I like to trust people until they break my trust. Not to say that they're gonna break my trust, but I like to be able to like have this like good attitude towards people and this hope in people that like I can trust in them, and I'm going to continue trusting in you until, you know, if and when something else happens. Success and recognition really matter to me. I think partially. I think I lean more towards on the yes because at the end of the day, like it really does matter to me what certain people think, but I'm working on not having people care what I think. I think it just depends. Like when it comes to like my faith in doing missions or like having gotten married so young or just certain things along those lines, I really don't care what people think. But in other areas, I'm still working on it. So I'm going to go with partially on that one. Okay, next page. So there's 14 pages. Again, I'm not going to read all these questions because then I don't know how long this video is going to be. But I just think it's really interesting and honestly really hard to kind of answer these questions truthfully, but I'm doing my best. I don't see much point in wallowing in negative emotions. When I begin to feel anxious, I tend to throw myself into distracting activities. I'd love to say that this is me, but I feel like I'm one of those people that wallows in my emotions. I like to like get distracted, but I feel like I also kind of almost, not that I enjoy, but I've grown into the habit of like wallowing in self-pity and like in emotions that I have to like kind of wake up and like get myself out of that. Your happiness and your feelings are your responsibility, not mine. That's false. I think that we choose to be happy. I think that at the end of the day, yes, people and circumstances can really affect the way you feel, but also at the end of the day, like, that's just life, so you kind of have to like choose how you're going to respond. I am more organized than most. I'd probably say no. I'm a true romantic. I'd probably say yes. Even though it is frequently irrational, I sometimes worry whether people are talking about me behind my back. You woke up! Oh, he looks so tired. Are you okay? Okay, sorry guys. Grayson woke up. Where was I? It's easy for me to accept other people and they seem comfortable around me because I don't judge them. I'd probably go with yes for the most part. I avoid expressing strong emotions, definitely. I have a really hard time expressing myself. Personal relationships are by far the most important thing in my life. I'm gonna go with partially. I love you guys. Okay. I am more loving than most people. I'm gonna go with partially. I'm quite unobstructive and easy to go along with. Yes. I get bored more easily than most people. I'm always looking for new experiences. I'd probably say partially. I am more temperamental than most but it's because my feelings are so strong. I'd probably say partially, but I think I'm temperamental more so because I have a hard time expressing myself. People are attracted to me because I impress them. I don't know. I think for the most part, I'm pretty easy to get along with, and I feel like I'm a likable person. I haven't really had an issue where like I've clashed hard with someone or someone straight up's like, I don't like you kind of thing. But I don't really know. I don't really know. I come on pretty strong and can sometimes intimidate people. I would say no. I think I've had very, very, very few instances where I've had someone tell me that I intimidate them or I come off strong. Very rarely. But I think it's more in the sense that like they admire me, but I don't think that I come off strong at all. I think it's actually something I need to work on. If I'm not careful, I get too isolated from others. I'd probably have to agree with that. I think that I have a tendency sometimes to like, how do I explain this? Not like to isolate myself in the extent that like I'll still be communicating with you and like everything will seem okay, but in reality, like I'm not really sharing everything, you know? I feel like now my friends are all gonna be like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm fine. But yeah, I feel like sometimes I fall under that. Sometimes I have overextended myself in trying to help people. Absolutely. I think um, that sometimes I'm just too nice and I don't know how to say no. And like I overexert myself and overwork myself, and it's not worth it. I would never call myself selfish. That's false. I can be selfish sometimes. I welcome a good fight as it clears the air. So I think that fighting in itself is not a bad thing. I think it can be a healthy thing every now and then if it's done right, but I don't welcome them. I hold a tight rein on my temper, partially. It's hard for me to save money as I tend to spend beyond my limits. I'd probably have to say no. I don't think that it's difficult for me to save money. I don't think I go shopping very often. Honestly, the only places where I spend money and where like it's dangerous for me is Target. Other than that, I feel like I have pretty good self-control and I'm honestly not like a lover of shopping as it is. It's strange, but I think that there is something beautiful about sadness. I totally agree with that. So I don't know if you, okay. It says, I'm just going to read it again just in case. It says, it's strange, but I think that there's something beautiful about sadness. I'm going to have to agree with that. I don't know what it is. Not to say that like being sad all the time is okay, but I think there's something so beautiful about it. It's very weird. I don't tend to overcommit myself. I have limited amount of time and energy. So I do have a limited amount of time and energy, but I tend to overcommit myself because I don't know how to say no. I want to be noticed, but it also makes me uncomfortable. I'd have to agree with that. I agree. I think it's weak to back down from confrontation. No. This is kind of hard because I feel like confrontation can be a healthy thing, although it's uncomfortable. But also, I don't think there's anything wrong with like backing down from it. I don't think it makes you weak. I think sometimes it's necessary to back down from confrontation, so I'm just going to say partially. Usually, I just focus on the positive sides of people, as focusing on negative traits or events does not help the relationship. I totally agree with that. I do my best to try and see the best in people, even when they've done stuff that like totally bothers me or I know is like not okay, just because it doesn't help the way I end up thinking about them or seeing them. And so, like, obviously, even if they have stuff they need to fix, it's not going to benefit me in any way if I'm like thinking horrible things about them. Most people don't know that I am actually really sensitive, as I tend to conceal my emotions. Oh, this is me. A lot of people don't think I'm sensitive. A lot of my friends back home actually think that they know that I love them well and that like I can have emotions, but I'm not very emotional. But in reality, I am. Even if I don't have it all together, at least I'm going to seem like I have it all together. I usually fall asleep and can even take a nap when I'm stressed out. Yeah, absolutely. I love sleeping. Sleeping has never been an issue for me. Regardless of how I'm feeling, like I can still fall asleep. Okay, I have the results. Ooh, okay. So it says, I am most likely a type 9. Taking wings into account, you seem to be a 4 wing 5. So type 9 is the peacemaker. It says keeping peace and harmony. So I'm just going to kind of move this so I can. Okay, it says people of this personality type essentially feel a need for peace and harmony. They tend to avoid conflict at all costs, whether it's internal or interpersonal. I'd have to agree with that. As the potential for conflict in life is virtually ambiguous. What does that say? I don't even know what this says. The 9's desire to avoid it generally results in some degree of withdrawal from life. Fair enough. And many 9's are in fact introverted. Yeah, I'd have to say I'm definitely introverted. Other 9's lead more active social lives, but nevertheless remain to some degree checked out or not fully involved, as if to insulate themselves from threats to their peace of mind. Most 9's are fairly easygoing. They adopt a strategy of going with the flow. Yeah. They are generally reliable, sturdy, tolerant, and likable individuals. 9's tend to adopt an optimistic approach to life. They are, for the most part, trusting people who see the best in others. They frequently have a deep-seated faith that things will somehow work out. Fair enough. They desire to feel connected both to people and to the world at large. They frequently feel most at home in nature and generally make warm and attentive parents. I want to be a mom. Okay. The 9's inability to tolerate conflict sometimes translates into an overall conservative approach to change. Change can provoke unpleasant feelings and disrupt the 9's desire for comfort. Less healthy 9's seem incapable of motivating themselves to move into action and bring about effective change. Okay, so it's saying I'm a type 9, but then it's also saying taking wings into account 4 wing 5. So type 4 is the individualist, and then type 5 is the investigator. However, when I type on Google type 4 wing 5, it says the free spirit. So it says people with the Enneagram type 4 wing 5 personality tend to identify most with type 4s, but also have some types of 5. They are introspective, creative, and perceptive in their behavior. They form a deeper understanding of themselves and of the world around them. They tend to be much less concerned with public image. So it says that the basic fear is that they have no impact on the world. They may be reserved, but they seek recognition and admiration. They desire personal identity and may retreat within themselves to discover who they are. They tend to defend themselves either by withdrawing from others or adapting characteristics of loved ones. Probably have to agree with that. In summary, it says they're creative, intellectual, they're reserved and withdrawn. They want to understand the world, seek personal impact, and have fear of having little knowledge or significance. Yeah, cool. That was fun. I think for the most part, I relate to a lot of it. Certain things, I guess it really just depends. Like, you're not going to fully fall under one category regardless of what they end up telling you. But for the most part, I do think that is pretty accurate, and I think it's definitely interesting. Needless to say, that's basically the gist of today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Again, let me know down below what your Enneagram, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but what type of person you are, because I'd definitely be curious to read about that. And if you guys need like a link for the exam, honestly just Google anything, because that's what I did. But I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on Friday.